If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
So we're back for a Cup Series race recap at Phoenix after taking a couple weeks off. And, well, the Cup race at Phoenix, well, it was pretty interesting when we had different tire compounds and different strategies. So, yeah, a lot of interesting races, a lot of interesting stuff happened at Phoenix, a lot of great finishes. So let's take a look at how all the action played out at Phoenix this weekend.
I'm calling both games!
So starting off, we had the ARCA race at Phoenix, which is also a combo race with ARCA West. So this race involves two different championships for ARCA. And, well, this race was dominated for the most part by Butterball Queen, as Brendan Queen was picking right back up where he left off at Daytona a couple weeks ago, and had a dominant performance until, oh yeah, I keep forgetting that ARCA has that stupid fucking green-white checker rule, where the race has to finish under green no matter what. And oh, by the way, NASCAR is discussing changing the green-white checker rule after the bullshit that happened in Atlanta. I didn't watch Atlanta, but I heard about that finish. And NASCAR is rumored to be changing the green-white checker policy. And I'll tell you what that change is going to end up being most likely. Everyone's thinking it's going to be going down to one attempt or it's going to end at scheduled distance. No. That requires common sense, which is something NASCAR doesn't have. If NASCAR is going to change anything to the green-white checker policy, they're just going to make it like ARCA, where the race has to finish under green no matter what. So if a caution comes out in the last lap, they just bunch the field up and try again until we have a green flag finish, aka the 2022 All-Star race when they nearly fucked Brian Blaney out of the win. So yeah, in ARCA's green-white checker rule is a bit different because they also have that stupid one-lap dash to the finish after one, because they do one attempt at 2 laps and then it's unlimited one-lap dash to the finish. Like, honestly, ARCA's green-white checker rule is so fucking dumb. Because there's one attempt at 2 laps and then more unlimited attempts at 1-lap dashes. So we went to the 1-lap dash on the second try. And then only a second attempt, well, it looked like Brendan Queen had it made, but Brent Cruz would then force Butterball Queen all the way up high. Either that or Queen just overdrove that turn. Like, honestly, I'll just say this, Brent Cruz did nothing wrong in this finish. He didn't even touch Queen. Like, Queen just overdrove the turn and went high up the track, and Brent Cruz took advantage on the last turn. And then Brent Cruz won the drag race to the start-finish line, and Brent Cruz gets the win at Phoenix. And, like honestly, the way both of them drove it almost looked like maybe Trey Lapsovich was going to come steal the win, but he couldn't get there. But Brent Cruz gets the win for JGR in the 18. So Brent Cruz wins at Phoenix, and Brendan Queen falls 1 lap short of starting to see ARCA season 2 for 2. But hey, a solid points day for him, which means that's going to give him a massive stranglehold on the championship. And also, hats off to Train Lapsovich in this race. The former Canada Series champion in his ARCA debut finishes 3rd. Not bad for Train. I mean, if Trey can, and this was Trey's first big shot in a great ride for Toyota, which just shows how high Toyota is on Trey. If Trey can just solve his funding issues, like, Trey definitely can have a bright future in stock cars. Always say, Trey, if worst case scenario plays out, you're always welcome back into the Canada Series with open arms. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, if all else fails in ARCA and etc., we will welcome you back into the Canada Series with open arms, my brother. Now on to the Xfinity race at Phoenix, and well, this race was actually pretty solid. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Usually the races that the Cup car struggles at, which is like flat tracks, short tracks, and road courses, the Xfinity car picks right back up with it. And here's the crazy part about the next-gen car for NASCAR. It was built to be great at road courses, and yet it's always good at intermediate super speedway tracks. Yet the Gen 6 car, which is currently what the Xfinity Series run, it was built to be great on speedways. And then it ends up being great on road courses, everything the next-gen car struggles on. But except in Xfinity, it's good anywhere we go to. Even Texas, which that's a shocking part. But yeah, this was actually a pretty solid race. But a majority of this race, though, it was mainly the Justin Allgaier show. As Allgaier had another dominant performance. And just absolutely dominate this race because Phoenix is one of Allgaier's best tracks. So this really isn't surprising. And you're wondering, how does Allgaier get screwed out of win at Phoenix this time? Well, another late race yellow from a brake failure, which sent the race into green-white checkers. And then on the green-white checker restart, Allgaier would get shuffled out by both Almirola and Alex Bowman. Bowman getting the lead coming to the white flag, but entering turn 3 and 4, Almirola just sent the car in and sent Bowman straight into the wall, and they both of them beat it bang in the drag race, where Almirola edged him out in the second closest finish in Phoenix and Xfinity Series history. The closest being when Daniel Hemrick beat Austin Cindric for the championship in 2021. But yeah, Almirola used up Bowman. I'll say this as an HMS fan. Almirola did nothing wrong. He did what he had to do. Like, honestly, that was just a hard racing deal. Does it suck that Bowman got stuffed in the wall like that? Yeah, but, at the end of the day, desperate drivers do what they gotta do. Especially when you have two leeches, and one of them being a leech in name, even though Almirola doesn't run a cup anymore, he's still a leech at heart. Because he's in the leech car for JGR. And, when you have two leeches bowing out that don't have points and they're just there to collect trophies, they'll be desperate and do whatever it takes to get the win. And yeah, Almirola did what he needed to do to get the win. So yeah, Almirola gets the win and puts the 19 car in a good position for the Owners' Championship. So yeah, and I honestly expect Almirola to be in that 19 car for majority to chase, for the Xfinity chase, to help JGR get the Owners' title. But yeah, let's be honest though, without green-white checkers, this whole thing about because everyone's asking, was Almirola's move fair or foul? Let's be honest, the only reason this is a discussion is because of the green-white checker rule. Because without the green-white checker rule, Almirola and Bowman neither of those two would have won, and Allgaier would have won. And this wouldn't even be a conversation without the green-white checker rule. So yeah, if you want to get mad at anybody for this, get mad at NASCAR for putting the drivers in this position. But yeah, once again, one detail lost in all this is Allgaier gets fucked over once again. Allgaier has had bad luck ever since winning at Phoenix in 2019, outside of his championship win. Outside the championship win last year, which I guess there's got to be one exception, the bad luck train, I guess. But yeah, once again, Allgaier can't seem to get the job done at Phoenix, outside of his championship win. And before we move on to the Cup Series race at Phoenix, we need to discuss some of NASCAR's inconsistent officiating. Because the officiating has been complete dog shit so far, with the questionable caution calls on the last lap. What the fuck is a caution on the last lap? And in the end, NASCAR's inconsistency strikes again, this time in the name with Austin Cindric. Because Austin Cindric was a naughty boy at COTA, as he right-hooked Ty Dillon on the front straightaway. I didn't watch the race, but I saw the video, and I'll just say this, Cindric should have been suspended. What did NASCAR decide of it? That was not worthy of a suspension, and they gave Cindric a 50-point penalty and $50,000 fine, which that is complete horseshit. Like, you're telling me Cindric's right hook isn't worthy of a suspension, but Chase Elliott and Bubba Wallace's is? And NASCAR wanted to pull out that flimsy excuse saying, oh, but it was a road course and they were traveling slower speeds, plus Ty Dillon didn't hit the wall and there was no caution. It doesn't fucking matter, you fucking idiots. A right hook is still a right hook, no matter how you want to slice it or dice it or twist it. And everyone wants to say, and there are some people making excuses saying, oh, this is consistent because Constant Josevar dumped Harrison Burn on the backstretch in Nashville last year under caution with a right hook and only got the same penalty. And which that was bullshit too. Josevar should have been suspended for that too. And for anyone saying they don't suspend drivers or the president was set with at Nashville last year, no. The president was already set. Because NASCAR has suspended drivers for right hooking or intentionally wrecking under slow speeds. Let me name some examples. Kyle Busch, Texas 2011, when he right hooked Ron Hornaday under caution at Texas. The main reason a lot of people hated Kyle Busch for so many years and still hate Busch to this day. Yes, that crowd still exists, believe it or not. There was also Johnny Sauter at Iowa in 2019 when he right hooked Austin Hill under caution. And that incident is the main reason why Ultimate 23 Karen started her beef with Austin Hill and Austin Hill fans. There was also Kevin Harvick at Martinsville in 2002 when he intentionally wrecked Coy Gibbs. And then, of course, ARCA 2 years ago in 2023 when Sean Hingarini got suspended after Mid-Ohio when he intentionally right hooked his teammate Dean Thompson right into the gravel pit. And that one race suspension ended up turning into 3 because Sean Hingarini couldn't compete at Pocono in Michigan in ARCA since Sean wasn't 18 yet at the time. So yeah, once again, NASCAR inconsistency striked again because that's like, 4 incidents that have resulted in suspensions I just named? And one of those was on a road course, in a turn into the gravel pit. Hell, it's pretty sad when ARCA has their shit together compared to NASCAR Cup Series officiating. Like, honestly, people need to stop making excuses for NASCAR's incompetence. Because that's the main reason why the officiating continues to get as bad as it is. Because fans continue to make fucking excuse after excuse after excuse. And all that does is just encourage NASCAR to keep doing the stupid bullshit they do. Because NASCAR's like, we got fans that will make excuses for us so we can continue to do our bullshit as long as they make excuses for us. No! When you start holding NASCAR accountable, that's when they'll stop their stupid bullshit. And then, of course, NASCAR still under stupid bullshit because they just made this counter lawsuit to Denny Hamlin in 2311. They countered the original lawsuit from last year over the charter deal. And this one, they're claiming that Hamlin and everybody conspired to have everybody go against NASCAR. No, they didn't need to conspire against anybody. You made everybody align against yourself with your stupid bullshit, NASCAR. Maybe start holding yourselves accountable. Instead of pretending that you do no wrong and that your shit don't stink. But yeah, once again, NASCAR gonna NASCAR, I guess. And now that leads us straight to the Cup Series race at Phoenix. And well, this Phoenix race was honestly a lot better than what we've seen in previous years. I mean, all we needed to do to make a Phoenix race interesting was just bring in 2 different tire compounds and just be like Formula 1. And if you think the NASCAR copying and skinning F1 thing is getting old, oh, it's about to get even worse. Because NASCAR has decided that now this weekend it's the perfect time to rename the pace car the Chevrolet safety car. Just like how in F1 it's called a safety car. Yep, we're really doing this. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting, especially once we saw different tire strategies, with the red soft tires, and we have the yellow primaries. And the red tires actually did their job, and it actually made the racing interesting, because we saw Priest in stage 1. He threw the reds on, and he went from like 33rd to 30 within 30-40 laps, and it really, the tires didn't level out until like 30-40 laps in. Even Logano, who got a penalty, beep, for a restart violation and crying on the radio about it. Oh, look, we call it crying because he didn't get NASCAR's favoritism for once. Yeah, sucks to suck, does it, Joey? It doesn't feel good when officiating doesn't suck your dick, does it? And then Logano would come back because he did the tire compound thing and rocket his way back up to the field. Of course he did. And then stage 3, Priest would do the same thing again and would rocket his way to the front of the field until a caution came out for some brake failures. Like, I'll be honest, though, it was pretty interesting. This race was interesting. There were a lot of comers and goers when we had 2 different tire compounds. But when everybody was on the same tire, though, it kind of played out like a normal Phoenix race. No, it was played out like it was just a regular, typical Phoenix race once everybody was on the same tire. I mean, when everyone was on a different tire, it was pretty interesting, especially the red soft tires. And there's been rumors that Phoenix is planning on bringing the red soft tire to be the primary tire for the championship race in the fall. So it could be interesting because then you have to manage the tire wear and all that. It could work. I mean, we saw how much of a big speed advantage it did with everybody between on there. And of course, Byron, he would end up knocked out of contention after Bubba Wallace would hit the wall during the final green flag pit stop cycle. Which, that's bad luck for Byron, because Byron had a car capable of winning the race and then just got caught with bad luck. And also in this race, we saw a rarity at Phoenix we'd almost never see often. And that was the big one, where we had a couple big crashes throughout this race. And also the debut of Catherine Legg, and she was involved in a couple caution incidents. The second one taking her out permanently after she got spun and then T-boned by Suarez. Damn, honestly, I don't know why the fuck she wasn't forced to run ARCA and other series before running in the Cup Series. Like, she definitely needs more time in stock cars. And there was some pretty high hope for her, but in the end, just another female that can't seem to get it done in the Cup Series. Pretty unfortunate. Pretty unfortunate for Catherine Legg. But sadly, we hold her to the same standard as everybody else that's running the Cup Series. And of course, throughout this race, though, this race was mainly the Christopher Bell show from start to finish. Even despite some best efforts late from Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin and a couple late race cautions from Blaney blowing his engine, and then Ty Gibbs losing his brake rotor late, it ended up being a 2-lap shootout in regulation. Technically not a green-white checkered, because the race was still in its scheduled distance. But in the 2-lap shootout, Hamlin and Bell would duke it out for the win, with Larson being right there in case something happened. And then, just like the ARCA and Xfinity race, Hamlin would get forced wide, Bell would get forced wide, and then Bell would take advantage, and Bell would win the drag race back to the start-finish line. And for anyone complaining about Hamlin there, let me just say this. Bell did nothing wrong. Hamlin didn't even hit the wall. Hell, Bell didn't even touch Hamlin. Hamlin just overdrove the turn and gave Bell way too much space, and then Bell won the drag race to the start-finish line. And Christopher Bell continues to stay hot to open the season, now winning his 3rd race in a row. And I think at this point in the year, we could say Christopher Bell is an early contender for the championship. I mean, I think you could make a case for him being the early season championship favorite, considering Bell has won 3 of the first 4 races in the season. Bell continues to get hot. The question is at Vegas next week, can Bell become the first driver to win 4 in a row since Jimmy Johnson in 2007? Because the last few drivers that have attempted to go win 4 in a row, they have met some pretty unfortunate ends. Like, there was Kyle Busch in 2015 when he won 3 in a row, and then he had a shot to win 4 in a row and ran out of gas on the last lap at Pocono. Then there was Logano in 2015 when he swept the entire second round of the chase. And then Kenseth's revenge at Martinsville happened. And then there was Kevin Harvick who literally did the same thing as Bell in 2018, won 3 in a row to open the season. And then Harvick got crashed out after contact with Larson, where he came down on Larson and then wrecked himself. And then, of course, let's not even mention the Kyle Larson in 2021 when Larson won 3 in a row and literally would have gotten to 4 until he blew his tire on the last turn at Pocono on the final lap. And that Larson one hurt a lot. So, can Christopher Bell get this 4th straight win? Or does this winning streak next week mean an unfortunate end? You'll have to tune in to find out. But yeah, even though this Phoenix race was better than what we've seen in the past with the next-gen car, I'll still say this, though. This track should not host the season finale anymore. Like, honestly, not only should Phoenix not host the finale, I think Phoenix should go when we go down to one date and we only do this once a year for the West Coast swing. Because this week also starts the West Coast swing. Which, that's pretty weird. Usually the West Coast swing usually starts either at the start of the year or the 3rd race of the year. Now it starts 4th race of the year. But yeah, we should only go to Phoenix once a year for the season for the West Coast swing. And I'll say this, though. If Phoenix ends up losing the finale, I think there's a very strong possibility that Phoenix ends up losing a date. Because with Richmond losing a date, I think Phoenix and Martinsville are now the next 2 tracks on the chopping block to lose a date. Because I think the next track that goes down to one date, it'll either be Phoenix or Martinsville. And I honestly, in a perfect world, I could see both of them going down to one date next year. I know some people that like Phoenix are going to come in the comments and defend and be like, oh, how can you say Phoenix is at risk of losing a date? Look at the sellout crowds they had, even though this crowd wasn't a sellout crowd. They never announced it as a sellout crowd. But still, they've had great attendance. How could you say that, you ignorant hack? Very simple. NASCAR doesn't make their decisions based off of attendance at tracks. They make it based off of TV ratings. And oh yeah, Phoenix's ratings as a season finale have sucked. And have gone down every single year. Even last year when it flatlined, which that's still kind of the same damn thing. Like, no real positive there. And that NFL football excuse card won't save you forever. I'll just say this. If Phoenix ends up losing a date and goes down to one date, then that all but proves that the NFL football excuse card won't save you forever. In fact, if Phoenix goes down to one date, then honestly you'll all lose that right to complain, to use the NFL football excuse card as your excuse card for low ratings late in the season for the chase. But yeah, just say this. All this momentum for Bell, and it will most likely result in a 4th place finish in the championship because of how broken the chase format is and that it fucks over the best driver throughout the season. But another question with Christopher Bell is, can he continue this hot streak throughout the season? Or will he flame out mid-season? Because in the last 3 years with this next-gen car, we've seen a driver start out hot early in the season and then end up flaming out by mid-season. But I feel like this one's different with Bell. Considering Bell looks like he's a man on a mission after last year when he got screwed out of the championship. Because I feel like Bell was the best driver last season. And he got screwed out of the championship. And I think Bell knows that too. And he's taking it personally. And he's really a man on a mission this year to go get that championship he was robbed of last year. So yeah, we'll find out. Can Bell continue this momentum throughout the season? Or will we flame out? Time will tell. We'll tune in next week to find out if he can get 4 in a row or not. I mean, if he can get the 4 wins in a row, then maybe things could be different. But yeah, that does it for this Cup race recap at Phoenix. The next Cup race recap on this channel will not be until Talladega at the end of April. There will be a recap next week, but it will not be on NASCAR. It will be covering, next week's recap is covering the F1 season opener in Australia. So yeah, in terms of Cup race recaps, see you at Talladega at the end of April. I'm out.